confirm things, especially at the lab. You guys, I can't even tell you what happened to me. One day I came home with about 5 plasters on my arms. Literally ruined my second trimester experience. I was crying every day and every night. I would wake up from my sleep and cry. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Faye Mac and I post videos about my life in Canada as a new immigrant and how to get here. If this is your first time here, thanks for clicking. If you're a returning subscriber, thanks for always coming back. You guys, this is going to be a very relaxed video. This is not my usual content, you know, like I say, but I guess it's kind of getting usual now since I'm doing some mommy baby videos. But typically I post videos about my life in Canada as a new immigrant and how to get here. So I post educational videos, entertaining videos about how to relocate to Canada and what my experience so far has been as an immigrant here in Canada. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Definitely hit the red subscribe button down here. I'm sure you're going to really enjoy my content. Maybe the subscribe button is down here, whatever, I'm not sure, whether here or here. Just make sure you click it and enjoy my content. Share with anybody who you think will be giving birth in Canada. Okay, first thing you need to know is that this is my first pregnancy. This is my first baby. I recently had her. I found out I was pregnant through obviously a home test kit. And my reason for taking that test was because I missed my period. I wasn't feeling sick. I wasn't feeling tired. I wasn't feeling any symptoms. I just knew that I was pregnant because we had started trying. Before then we weren't trying, we didn't want to. So at this time we had started trying. So immediately I missed my period. It was like 1 day late. It just clicked in my head that okay, yeah, like you're probably pregnant. Told my husband, I said, you know, he said let's wait a couple more days and see if it comes. If not, we'll get a kit and do it. So yes, we waited till the next day, and then at night we were supposed to wait till the 3rd day, right, to see if the period will come. But according to my app, which I have on my phone to track my period because I could never remember dates, my period was 2 days late. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is unusual. I know that something has happened. So you know, we agreed that we'll check in the morning. Listen, I could not sleep. My body was like, I don't know, I was shaky. I don't know why. I was nervous, I was anxious. I wanted to know. And it's funny because we had just decided to start trying. So it's not like I had been expecting it so much. I was really anxious. I just wanted to know. So I decided to stand up while my husband was sleeping and go take the test. So went to the bathroom, took the test, and it was positive. So I decided to just leave him to sleep. And in the morning, I, you know, informed him we're pregnant, you know, and all of that. I wanted to wait till I did a blood test to tell like family and friends, close friends. But honestly, I ended up not even doing a test until later down the line, and I'll explain. For those of you that said, you know, made comments about my heavy breathing or me not being relaxed in those home tours that I did for you guys, the basement tour, the 1-bedroom apartment tour, and the 4-bedroom house tour, you guys, I was pregnant in those videos. That's why I was breathing heavily. That was one of my main symptoms. I had fatigue and I was breathing very heavily. But we'll still get into symptoms. Let me not digress. Anyway, so yeah, I started calling walk-in clinics. They weren't really taking clients because it was still, you know, we were in, I think, the 3rd wave of COVID in Ontario. So they weren't taking anyone, right? I couldn't just walk into a clinic. Some clinics will put like, they would lock their doors, put a table outside and be talking to you from outside, right? Like that's how bad it was. So it was really bad that period. I couldn't get any doctor to see me. I called the public health nurses after calling so many other different numbers and getting, you know, posted everywhere and saying, oh, I'll transfer you over to this, I'll transfer you over to that. I ended up calling public health nurses and they were the ones that actually gave me a referral for an OBGYN. Okay, so they're the ones that introduced me to my obstetrician, gynecologist, and she basically, I had called our office before, but they weren't picking. Like I said, all the offices were not picking. But once I got the referral from public health nurses and they called the doctor's office now picked my call. So that's what happened. So eventually I booked some appointments to go see her, and then she sent me for blood work. By this time I think I was even already 8 weeks gone before I did a blood test. That's how crazy everything was here. So I did a blood test. They took my urine sample, they checked my vitals and all of that at the lab. So how it works is you have your doctor's office, that's your OBGYN, or you can decide to use a midwife, but I used an OBGYN, and they can send requisitions to the labs. So you go to the lab and get your blood work done, get your urine done, and they send the results to your doctor. Or you can go online and see your results on your portal. And that was how we found out we were pregnant and what we did right after. Let's get a little deeper into the pregnancy. First off, before we even go any further, I'd like to appreciate all single mothers out there, because honestly it's not an easy journey at all. Okay, I know it's easier for some than others. It wasn't easy. It is not easy to birth a child into this world. Like creating a whole new being inside of you, it's not easy. So I'd like to, appreciate single mothers out there who did it by themselves, and also appreciate all mothers out there, because you guys, you're the real MVPs, like literally. I also like to appreciate Mr. Matt, my husband, because you guys, this guy was hands-on. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about him, but yeah, thank you. I know you're watching this video. Yeah, like, thank you, because you made the journey quite amazing and way less stressful than it could have been. I also had loads of support from my sister, my brother, like my family around me. I had support from friends. They were so lovely. We couldn't really see during the pregnancy, except towards the tail end of my pregnancy when everybody was already vaccinated. Everyone around me got vaccinated, so that was good. I felt a little more secure. You guys, I had so much support that even my parents back home in Nigeria, before they came here, when it was time for the baby, they would call and order food and have it sent to my house. That's how supportive they were. That was so helpful, because I probably didn't even cook anything while I was pregnant. Maybe just a few things here and there, but I don't even remember cooking while I was pregnant. So let's talk about symptoms. Now, I didn't really have a lot of symptoms. I wasn't spitting, I wasn't vomiting. I vomited about 4 times. The first time though was because I drank too much water when it was time for my scan. You guys, I'm not a water girl, but because they said to drink a whole lot of water, I think they said 4 cups of water for my ultrasound, I sat down and forced myself to drink that much water within the 30-minute time frame that they gave me, and because of that, everything came right out. So that was the first time I vomited. The second time was because of how I was brushing. I couldn't just brush the back of my tongue aggressively because it triggered me to puke. So second time, that was the reason I puked. Third and fourth time was also because of my brushing at the times that I forgot to brush more carefully. So yeah, I wouldn't say I had like puking as a symptom or spitting as a symptom. I didn't. There are reasons for that. I don't think I had any food aversions or like cravings that were out of the ordinary. Normally I have food cravings. Normally when I want to eat shawarma, that's what I want to eat. I'm going to have to find a way to make it or buy it, whatever it is, right? So I don't think I had any extraordinary food cravings. It was just my regular, oh, I feel like eating amala today. I don't think it was because of the pregnancy. Who knows, I might be wrong. For food aversions, one thing though is that I didn't like the smell of curry and thyme. So sometimes when Mr. Mark was cooking, and he used curry and thyme, I would smell it right from the room, like from the kitchen to the room upstairs. I would smell it and it would just irritate me. So I guess I was a bit nauseated, a little bit of nausea, yeah, but not to the extent of puking because of that. Now, one thing about my pregnancy was that I was low on iron. Okay, I didn't know this, and apparently a lot of Black women while pregnant are low on iron. So yeah, that was an issue. I had to do blood tests every 2 to 3 weeks. You guys, it wasn't easy. There was also another test that they did. If you're living in Canada, you've probably heard of this. You probably know that, those tests give false positives. I was one of the cases where they gave me very bad news about my baby, and it turned out to be a false positive after carrying out many other different tests. You guys, This was in my second trimester, and it literally ruined my second trimester experience. I was crying every day and every night. I would wake up from my sleep and cry. I wake up in the morning and cry. Now I can laugh about it, but it wasn't easy at that time, for me and my husband. So yeah, apparently those tests are very known, well known, and we knew that during the research process when we were researching, the results and things like that, and the tests, they said there were a lot of false positives. But obviously, you still don't want to be that one in whatever amount that they're saying something might be wrong, right? So when they did further testing, they found out that the previous result was false, and so the baby was in perfect condition and she was doing perfectly okay. Now, in the process of doing that, one thing I'll just say is be very, very intentional when you go to the lab and you go to the doctors. Ask questions, confirm things, especially at the lab. You guys, I can't even tell you what happened to me. One day, I came home with about 5 plasters on my arms because they messed up my requisition. I just mentioned that I had been carrying out blood tests every 3 weeks. During the second trimester period where they told me something was wrong, it ended up being about almost every week I was going to the lab to get blood drawn, and I would tell them, listen, I was here last week, so please make sure that the requisition you pull, that's the document from the doctor to tell them what test to carry out, please make sure that this test, the requisition that you're pulling, is the one that was sent yesterday to be tested today. And then, I told them that. They pulled it. They said, yeah, sure. They put me in a room. They drew my blood, about 5 bottles or whatever. And then they say, oh, okay, you can go. But I said, no, I can't go. Normally I would go, but this time my doctor had specifically told me that I needed to sign a document for this particular test to be carried out. So I told them, where do I sign? They said, no, you don't sign, blah, blah, blah. I said, please check the date on the requisition. They said it was March something. I said, how come? Because I told you that they had just sent a new requisition yesterday and you've just drawn blood based on the old requisition. I said, okay, please can you go look for the new requisition? She went. They said, oh, it's a different kind of test, and that test requires its own specific bottle, like a special bottle, so they cannot use that specimen that they already drew from me. All that blood that they drew from me, they had to draw blood again. Okay. Yeah. And by the time they tried again, blood wasn't coming out. So they tried prick, and I ended up with about 4 plasters on my arm. Eventually, it was another lady. I called her for support, and then she came in. She just did her magic, and then the blood came out, and that was it. You guys, that day, I almost cried. Like, God, is this me? Like, what is this? Right? So people are very, very laid back, I would say. Some people are very, very laid back. So during this process, don't take people's word for it. Even doing that test, I was a bit late because my doctor had missed it. I was supposed to do another test earlier than that. Who knows, if I had done that test earlier than that, I wouldn't have even had to go through all the stress that it put me through during my second pregnancy, right? So you guys have to be on top of your game, research what kind of tests need to be carried out in your province or in your country, and make sure that they actually carry them out at the time that they are supposed to, because it's quite ridiculous. But I understand that these are unprecedented times. It's a pandemic. There are a lot of pregnant women. Okay, believe it or not, there are a lot of pregnant women. The doctors are swamped. The labs are a bit busy. They're a bit busy, so it might not really be their fault, right? But just make sure that you confirm your tests, your requisitions, and things like that. Like, confirm, okay? Always double check stuff. Now, in my third trimester, after going through all of that in my second trimester and finding out there was actually no problem, my third trimester, I started having some serious back and hip pain. You guys, from then up until a month and a half after baby came, because now baby is going on 2 months, from then up until a month and a half after baby came, I was walking like a penguin, okay? Like, before baby came, yes, I was walking like a penguin. I feel like that's expected, right? Like, getting off the bed takes some maneuvering and all of that. But after baby came, I didn't know that it was going to happen like that, because for the first week, I didn't really feel the body pain. What I felt was the stitches, right? The stitches were really painful. You guys, the pelvic pain, the back pain was crazy. I would be walking and I would feel like I'm about to divide into two, like from my waist. It was that crazy. So yeah, that was really, really, painful. But in my third trimester, my friends, family, and people around me, they gathered and threw me a baby shower, which was really, really fun. It was a really fun day. I really thought that my baby was going to come early. I decided to stop working. I thought my baby was going to be 2 weeks early. I tried to make her come by like walking. By the time my mom was here, she would make me walk around the entire neighborhood, do exercise and all of that. So I thought, okay, yeah, my baby should come 2 weeks early. I decided to, start my leave because work was becoming extremely hectic. During my third trimester, I was the busiest that I've ever been at my organization. Okay, so it was really, really fast paced. It was really busy. Even though I was working from home, I decided that, I don't think I can give it my best anymore, being 8 months pregnant and just like being in pain with my back and everything. So I decided I was going to use up all my vacation time and then start my mat leave. 1 month passed, baby had not come. I went past my due date. Okay, on the day of my due date, now that is where everything got very interesting. Okay, but yeah, I'll get into my labor and delivery story in my next video, but this one was just a little explanation of the experiences that I had while I was pregnant. I hope you learned one or two things. I hope you take my advice about being very thorough with your doctor, with your lab attendants and all of that. If you're using a midwife, that's also amazing. I've heard fantastic news and fantastic testimonials about midwives here in Canada. So if you're using a midwife, that is also amazing. I just wanted to use a doctor because it's my first time and I didn't want to take chances. I don't know. I don't know. I think a midwife would have been perfect as well, but I went with an OBGYN. Take your vitamins. I was on iron supplements throughout my pregnancy, as well as prenatal vitamins. Now, I didn't even have to pay for the iron supplements because my doctor provided me with free samples. She had loads of them, so she just gave them to me. It was towards the end of my pregnancy that I had to just go to the pharmacy and buy iron supplements. But aside that, I also paid for prenatal vitamins, and those are the only two things that I paid for. All the tests, all the doctor's visits, everything was free. And when I say free, like free healthcare in Canada, some Canadians come to my comments, one or two of them saying, it's not really free because you're paying for it. Now, here's the thing. I come from a country where we pay taxes and we also do not get free healthcare. And the quality of the healthcare is still subpar. Okay? So when I say free healthcare in Canada, it is free. I know I'm paying my taxes for it, but it's still free healthcare in my opinion, because they could as well be taking the taxes and still not provide free healthcare for permanent residents and citizens. So yes, like I said, throughout my pregnancy, I didn't have to pay a dime other than for my prenatal vitamins and my iron supplements, which I also get back from my workplace because we have health insurance, right? So I got reimbursed for those costs. So basically, I didn't really spend any money during my pregnancy. But yeah, that is the end of this video. Stay tuned. Next week I will be talking about my delivery and labor. I just decided to split this into two just so that one video doesn't get too long. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you learned anything from this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you enjoyed me talking, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Share with anyone who you know is an expectant mother here in Canada. And I'll see you in my next video.